Hi, I'm Stephen Feinberg, Executive Director of the Rhode Island Film and Television Office. Our guest today, Duncan Putney. Duncan is an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker, an actor, and he helps our community in so many ways. Welcome, Duncan.
Well, thanks for having me.
So, Duncan, you have won, or you've been nominated several times for Emmys for the PSAs, and you won. Can you talk a little bit about the 7-day PSA program and all that good stuff?
Sure. The 7-day PSA program contest is a filmmaking competition that I had the idea with my producing partner, Andre Stark.
Yeah.
And we took it to George because we realized it's not a for-profit. George Marshall, I should say, yes, of the film festival,
yeah,
which is a nonprofit film festival. Because we didn't want to do it as a for-profit thing for us. It was a good thing. It should be so. It's done under the auspices of the film festival, and the idea is to challenge filmmakers to use their skills, and it's 7 days long.
Yeah.
And filmmakers come in teams,
yeah,
and on day one we give them the information of a local nonprofit that provides a needed service to the community. So like a soup kitchen, a homeless shelter, or addiction help, whatever that's. So I mean, yes, the opera and those kind of things are great nonprofits that deserve support, but these are needed services that people need to know about now. And the filmmakers have 7 days to write, shoot, and edit a public service announcement, broadcast quality public service announcement for
these nonprofits.
And if they had to pay, I mean, these nonprofits are having trouble finding money to pay for staff and soup.
Sure.
I mean, for the soup kitchen. Sure. They don't have the money to hire someone to do a professional job. And the ratio is about 3 or 4 teams per nonprofit. So they make sure that they have several to choose from.
And how many nonprofits were there? Do you remember in the first year?
The first one we had 3 nonprofits.
Okay.
And the one that won for the best PSA, even though each one got their own nonprofit, got their own PSA, the one that won was for Big Sisters.
Me. Oh. Let's just try it over again, okay? Say, oh, playmate, come out and play with me.
And bring your dollies 3, climb up my apple tree, slide down my rainbow, into my cellar door, and we'll be jolly friends forevermore, more. Say, oh playmate, I cannot play with you. My dolly's got the flu. Ain't got no rainbow, ain't got no cellar door, and we'll be jolly friends forevermore.
The Big Sisters merged into Big Brothers.
Now
too,
the
right?
Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Yep.
And it was Dana Miskowski, if I'm saying her name correctly, was the sort of team leader on that and director, and they did a great job, and they got a lot of actors that they brought in, so all these paired up women with young girls, and we put them in for Emmy Awards once they're broadcast. And we got to say, we had great broadcast partners. We had local stations like Cox and 10 and 6, and they gave them all the airtime that they could.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it does 2 things. It raises awareness for people that need those services, and for somebody who may want to donate time or money or things. It gives them a way to say, okay, I got to call that number or go to that website.
Right, and then the filmmaker is getting this great experience of doing something for society, for the community, the power of film, and they're being nominated, right?
And it will,
for an Emmy.
For their resume, it's a professional credit.
Sure.
They had a client that they had to create something for. And we say, do something good for your career and your karma.
Right, I love that. And so there were 2 Emmy nominations, and you guys won for this program, right?
Yes, we did. And
Super.
We had a nice thing. We had at the Boston one, there was a team that got an Emmy nomination for that one. There was several. And this program, which started here, is being done in Boston and Maine. So it started here
in Rhode Island,
and it's spreading out. But we had someone who contacted us and said, I went for an interview for Frontline at PBS, and when I got in for the interview, they said the reason we called you in No, the kid got himself the job.
Right.
He got himself the job. We didn't get him the job. But
Right.
they said, when we saw that you got an Emmy nomination for PSA, that made us want to talk to you.
Isn't that awesome?
So, I mean, we're not taking the credit for,
Right.
for anything, but it was just like,
Well,
you know, he,
the opportunity. You presented the
but,
opportunity.
well, I think the filmmaker sees an opportunity and took advantage
Maximize
of
the
it.
potential.
Maximize the
That's
potential.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to talk, because we only have a couple of minutes, about your project Half Pint. Half Pint is a story about this little boy, and he ends up getting catapulted back in time into World War II. The purpose of that whole idea?
Well, we're the same generation. We got to talk to even some World War I guys when we were young, and they're all gone.
Right.
And kids, I want to get kids interested in history. So the concept for a series, we have shot the pilot, is that a young person is thrown back in time for a day, the last 70 years or so. So when they get back from World War II or they were at the space program or the Civil Rights era, they're like, hey, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, next door neighbor lady, I want to hear about what you did. That was really interesting. You were making history. And to get kids to realize that it's not a famous person that makes a speech that changed history. When you memorize those dates in school, that date didn't change history. It was everybody doing a little bit. When you add it all up,
Creating the story.
That changed the world.
Right. So it's those connections, right? That's what you wanted people to say.
Yeah.
Hey, if you come out of this movie, make that connection, right?
Make those connections, and to get kids to realize as they go forward in their lives, they're making history. It's not history yet, it's current events, but they're making history every day. If they can do something positive, it's going to all add up to a positive future that they can look back on and say, hey, I did something positive.
I think Mark Twain said it. He said there's 2 dates you should know in your life: the date you were born and the date you find out why. And I think that is and you can help these, some of these older people too, they have these stories, they might not find out their why until they share the stories with someone from a younger generation.
Half Pint, which I wrote it here, created it here, and we shot it here at the windmill in Middletown, Rhode Island. The one for the pictures on their town seal.
Yeah.
It was a gorgeous location because it was moved to a conservation land, and there's nothing around it. There's no.
And you used Rhode Island. I'm going to have and you used Rhode Island crew.
Rhode Island
You made
crew.
it here in Rhode Island.
Yeah,
you
Rhode
did
Island.
also in New England.
We won a Van Gogh Award at
Van Gogh Award?
at the Amsterdam Film Festival, and it's being shown at several museums in France, in Normandy, as well as World War II museums.
Well, Duncan, I want to thank you so much. There's so much we can talk
Okay.
about, but not enough time. Thank you so much for coming to Double Feature.
Well, thanks for having me.